Oh, yeah, there ain't shit going on in the box, but we're back for another one. Let's do it. BCX inside the box. Oh, yeah. I'm live and direct from the Connecticut suburbs. There's a salty gentleman next to me ready to go fight some fires over there in greater Auburn Hills, Michigan. Hey, it's Rafa Bartolome. How is it, bro?
It's great to see you, Brian. What the fuck are we doing here right now? What is happening? There's no box to be inside of. We're inside. I don't know, purgatory. I wouldn't quite put us in hell yet, but it ain't. It's rough out here these days, and I'm not happy with you. You had me watch uh, more than 1 hour of Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul press conferences for this event today. What is happening?
Nothing is happening. That's why you were watching that. I really wasn't gonna pod at all until late last night. It just hit me. Hey, let's pod and have fun. But nah, there ain't nothing going on inside the box. Shout out to all of our regulars who are showing up. Monzo reminding you that the Tigers are free falling. Right?
Yeah, I was at one of the. I almost said their former name. I was at one of their games against the Guardians last week, and it was not great.
The Indians.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that's
we
the
don't.
Cleveland
No.
Indians. Yes.
No.
It wasn't that the team. Isn't that the team from Major League too?
Yes.
Oh man, I didn't mean the sequel, but of course it is also the team in the sequel. Hey,
although in the first movie they actually played in Milwaukee County Stadium and pretended it was the Cleveland Stadium.
That's a good factoid. I didn't know that one. Do you have a preference, Brian, for Wesley Snipes or Omar Epps as Willie Mays Hayes?
Oh, definitely Wesley Snipes. Come on. I mean, I don't hate Major League 2. Like it has all the makings to suck of a typical sequel, but yet
have no marbles, Brian.
Yeah,
no marbles.
Exactly. That's enough reason right there. You know, marbles. I mean, that part was great live, but it really sucks. I don't know, dude. I even tell me if I'm lame. Well, I'm pretty lame, but I even kind of like the grassroots third one with Scott Bakula, where they go to the minor leagues and it's like, whose career is down enough right now that can join us for this third movie? That's basically what they offered to people. So it's like the country bumpkin from the second one. They all came back except for like Charlie Sheen and stuff. You know what I mean?
They didn't get Dennis Haysbert, the president, in 24, and of course Pedro Serrano.
Did he do all three? I don't even know.
He couldn't have been in 3, right? I did see 3, but I forgot. Okay. Look, all Snipes did was not pay his income taxes, all right? Because he happened to join a certain religious sect. I believe they're called the Nuwabians, who believe that it's against their religion to be paying the U.S. government income taxes. So I can't really blame him. I should seek out an income, after which I will be seeking out a religion that will absolve me from paying taxes on my income.
Well, I think that religion could involve Joe Boo. You know what I mean?
Fuck you, Joe Boo. Fuck you.
Joe Boo needs a refill. Yeah. I say, fuck you, Joe Boo. I do it myself. Ahoy, mateys. Ahoy, fired up. Shout out to the 80K crew, the Irish crew, the This Ain't Jorge Coda crew. We got any other crews here? Terry Crews? Shout out to Terry Crews, right?
Oh man, Terry Crews get me laughing too, man.
All right, I got a question here that might sum it up, or a statement from Toronto's Brody Moret. The bomb may have made that second press conference worth it. Your thoughts?
It looks like she's back in her prime for sure.
You're not talking about fighting. Okay, got it.
There was no fight. These were press conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, she hasn't looked her performance, she's looked good in the ring, but her performances have not been up to the level that she set when she looked good in beating Michaela Mayer in the ring that last time.
Without any paint. Without any paint.
No, it didn't even need paint to get her out of here.
Nando's right. Bob Uecker was the real MVP of those films. Just a bit outside. Yeah. R.I.P. to Mr. Baseball. Thank you, Cosmo Kramer. Yeah. So we're here because we love you people. We like to talk. And yeah, there ain't nothing. I mean, dude, this year, would you say, did we have high moments this year? Yes. Are we coming off of Canelo Crawford? Yes. Is there a ring card coming up that's kind of decent? Is there, Ortiz-Lubin. I mean, there's some things to care about, but this year also has had the most dead spots that we've had in the box in a long ass time, man.
Well, and this is where I think we can tee you up, Brian, to step up to the dais, get on your soapbox, and say that maybe this is a trend. Maybe there's actually something structural to the way that the boxing schedule is playing out this year, where it is these handful or these sort of intermittent mega events, pretty much entirely funded by Riyadh season and Turkey Al Sheikh and Saudi money. And if it ain't Saudi money, it ain't happening, right? It's just, it's going to be much smaller scale, unfortunate pay-per-views that are difficult to swallow paying for. And you know me, I never swallow. Not a single pay-per-view. I will not swallow. All right. I have not bottled it yet, mate. I'll take the malware. Give it.
I mean, you already know that HE is HIM, so you weren't talking disparagingly about that guy.
Look,
right?
It's not a value judgment, it's an observation. It's saying this is what, the money is here in boxing right now. The traditional promoters are having a hard time generating the kind of revenue that they need to pay the best fighters the premium rates that they have earned and deserved over the years. And the pay-per-view model has broken down. So with all of the ways of, the boxing that sustains itself financially, say the old promoter model, where even those arguably didn't always perfectly sustain themselves financially, where it's like, well, my model is to go find this dumbass to give me some money, and then I'm going to use it to put on shows and give myself that money and pay my fighters pretty well as well, which was a pretty decent model. Then there were the ones where, we got to have these smaller events where we're probably going to take a loss. We're doing club shows. We're doing ballrooms. We're taking site fees from casinos in Hollywood, Florida, and maybe BC will fly down for that. Maybe he'll call it from a closet. But
I've done that.
I'm the one who first let BC out of the closet.
He
listened to me. Whoa. Hey, yo, hey. Lick him down like a stiff, BC.
I was just saying, be careful what you say about that man.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
They say. I think that news source there, whatever that gentleman's name is.
Yes.
Do you think he was actually talking about Turkey? Because they said he say he murdered. How do you spell he, Brian?
His excremency, H-E, exactly.
H-E is the only way to spell he in my dictionary.
Exactly. I mean, you can't, all right, enough of that if I want to work in this industry again. What the hell's happening here? All right. H-E is H-I-M, so that will always be the fact. Quick update or question here from Hank Williams IV. Need a Rafe report on the
I ain't going to be able to provide that one.
Card in Detroit. Brandon Moore, unanimous decision in the main event, heavyweights, Friday night fights level. Your thoughts?
It happened.
All right. Also, let's hear from Nando.
DeAndre Savage, the Michigan fighter. He's real fat. I know that.
Yes. Well, fat fellas can fight, but no one wants to get beat by a man with Ebenezer Tete. Look, this was a report yesterday from Dan Rayfield that Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach Jr. will not only be fighting in December on a PBC pay-per-view, they'll be the damn main event. Your thoughts?
Who's Marlon Perkins, Nando? I don't get the joke.
I didn't get the joke either. Do I have to look that up, Nando?
Is this going to be as embarrassing as when our two lame asses didn't immediately understand? What's his name? Angel Garcia's fish scale reference.
Yeah, fish scale. We're like,
Is that like fishnets? We're talking about fishnets?
Yeah.
Sorry, all right. I didn't do a lot of cocaine. But it's a hell of a drug.
Yet.
Yet. Yeah, I'm waiting till I get a little deeper into middle age to really
There
spark
it
you.
is. Because there's nothing goes together greater like a failing heart and some speed. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean?
You know, fuck a pacemaker. I got all I need right here. I saw a crank. It works for Jason Statham.
Ooh. Hey, Long Island. I don't know if Long Island Luke is still in this chat, but he told me on Monday when we were in the Cité for MK that afterwards he was going to meet his lady and go get a little light and a little dark, maybe 2 and 2. You know what I'm saying?
That's great. Well, at least you know, we got to thank those pioneers, those brave women back in the late '60s who finally managed to get McSorley's to open its doors to females, as we were saying in the Jake Paul press conference the other day in 1970. So, and as we say, it's been good ever since 6 Dark. That's a nice day.
That is a nice day. Did you get Long Island? Did you get the saltine crackers with the yeah, there it is. The cheese. Yeah, okay. It's platter. He said platter. It's a platter.
I thought it was like a Richard Dwyer, like cheese and onion player.
Yeah, make that money. I had the burger. It was very good. It was very good. And then I got to hang out with Johnny Wad. Can you explain in 1 minute or less who and what Johnny Wad is?
I can't explain a damn thing in 1 minute or less. You know me. Johnny Wad is a fixture of the block, and he has a hernia so big they named it after him, Johnny Wad.
So he won't get it removed medically. It's just this wad.
He actually, so he had it once, got it removed, was in the hospital for like a full year because he was not in good shape. And then got out and he came back. I don't know, man. You can't keep a good wad down.
Is the wad still alive?
Yes. Yeah. I saw him in July.
Didn't you tell me that he was raised in the apartment above McSorley's and he will pass in that apartment?
That is true. He has one of the most incredible rent control deals in all of the East Village of Manhattan right now. He ain't leaving. He doesn't always have the electricity on, but he's up in there.
All right. Shout out to 35 cents a month rent, 1935 style. Can't beat it. Can't beat it in New York. Will you ever live in the borough of Manhattan again in your life? I'm sorry, you're going to have to look ahead. Will you? Yes or no?
I don't know, man. It depends. Life throws some curveballs at you. It's possible. I mean, look, it depends on my wife. And my wife,
she's nice.
She will have a nice job. If her nice jobs will take her to Manhattan, I will go back. That's all. Okay. My wife.
And then on the weekends, we go to the city to watch women make toilet. Yes. All right. I like table tennis. Great stuff. All right. There was a little bit of box over the weekend. Did you or did you not catch that DAZN doubleheader over there in Fantasy Springs?
Why are you calling it a doubleheader? All right, why are we doing this?
Oh wow! Well, there were women involved. There was
actually. I give Gabby Fundora credit, man. I think she's. I would just like naked eye. I'm sorry. Just by by my observation, I think she's a more fluid athlete than her brother, who's a very good boxer, but is a big stiff idiot sometimes.
She can punch for that.
Clearly.
Yeah, she can punch. You know what I'm saying? We're talking, of course, about Oscar Collazo, the strawweight champion from Puerto Rico, fighting out of New Jersey, 13-0 with 10 KOs. Let's throw it over to Hank Williams, who says Oscar got the KO in a tough fight versus Filipino Jason Vason for the minimum weight world title. Rafe, how is Vason's name? Because I was calling him Jason Vason all week. How is it pronounced? The kid could fight. He just gassed out, and we'll get to the very weird stoppage in a second. But how do you pronounce the non-American version of Jason Vason?
So Jason is Jason, even though it has the extra Y, and his last name is Vaison.
Jason,
not as much of a French Vaison.
This ain't Luis Collazo though, the one that went to the body against one time and had him doing that dance in that early PBC fight. You remember that?
Of course, hell yes, I remember that. I do enjoy that. weird, weird results for the fighters being brought in, the contenders being brought in from the Philippines this year, between our guy Jason Vison and now and before Charlie Suarez in that fight with Navarrete this year. It's like there's going to be a weird ending, it seems, when you bring in a Filipino guy.
It's always it's like $1 Million Baby. It's always an ending that you never saw coming, and now you're questioning why you even watched to begin with. I said straw weight; it was minimum weight. So to answer
that's the same weight, isn't it?
Maybe it is. Is that so? It's both fighters weighed in at 104.5. Is that the 106 division? Is that?
I think it's 105.
So I thought Manny debuted at 106. Whatever. He beat Jason Vison via 7th round KO. It should have been a TKO because the corner stopped it, but California rules mean it's a KO, whatever. Vison
that doesn't make any sense. What's going on? Andy Foster, defend this shit.
So here's the deal. Collazo was up 59-54 on all 3 scorecards at the time of the stoppage, but it was expected to be a blowout, and it was a fairly competitive fight in which old Vison pulled out right when things got hairy. So was it a gassing situation? Did you read the Filipino websites? I mean, what the hell's going on? You know, are you Filipino Luke Thomas or not? Okay, that's what we want to know.
I mean, that's not for me to decide. I don't know, but you know, that's not for me to say. But no, I did. I watched a couple of the videos after the fact from local news sources. It seems like just a really weird situation with his corner. I mean, I have no clue what they were doing. No one seemed they seem to be changing their own stories a lot. I agree. Vison looked good. He looked very good. He wasn't winning the fight, and it looked like he was starting to get broken down. But that stoppage made no sense for the corner. It almost made me. I mean, you know who I want to blame for this more than anyone else, right?
The women boxers in the co-main event?
I mean, I do like to blame a female, but only after I fornicate with them.
Okay. Yeah. If you don't like that, turn off.
You made me blow my load too early. But anyway,
is that what happened to old Jason Vison? Do we have to bring in Sal Pal here?
Take one round at a time, let him shoot his load, and then down the stretch, do what we do best.
When did you think that the fight was starting to turn, when he had shot his load and you could come out?
When he started shooting his load in the first half of the fight.
Vison shot his load in round 7, and the coach was like, no refractory period. This fight is over. Okay.
Because it wasn't that active of a fight. It's not like this wasn't Alfredo Angulo, James Kirkland type performance. No, I want to blame that side of his head shaved bastard, that referee, that male referee.
Thomas Taylor?
Yeah,
that came directly from Crawford Canelo. Might be wearing a piece. Very nice guy.
Yeah,
very
came
nice guy.
Directly from his tanning booth. Yes,
that
guy.
Yes.
Taylor had a fine night. I think that was one of those fights where you would wish for one of those hard-nosed guys, I feel like a Jack Reese guy with who is a little less of us. I mean, every boxing ref has a stick up their ass a little bit. That's sort of what makes them referees. That's the spirit of the profession. But
no, fight ain't over.
Exactly. A little bit of Frank Cappuccino, a little bit of East Coast swagger, A little
bit of Mercanti Jr.
Mercanti. Hey, champ, you're not going out like this. All right. Like, I don't care what the corner says. I don't care what the commission says. You're finishing this round. Okay. That kind of referee. That would have been nice. I think, and the referee does have that discretion to turn down the corner trying to stop a fight. And like that, this doesn't make any sense. I'm thinking about the fans. I'm thinking about the integrity of the sport. I'm not just thinking about whatever it is you're trying to tell me in that corner. And that would have been nice. But at the same time, to come up with that decision in the moment that's the difference between a Thomas Taylor and a Frank Cappuccino.
Interesting. You might be right on that one. Brody's pointing out an interesting thought. I know you don't get down with the rock and roll much, or even the progressive rock, but Gabby Fundora walking out to Rush by Tom Sawyer. That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
What is it?
It's a rock and roll song.
Wait, Rush is the band, right? Aren't
yeah,
they
yeah,
90s
yeah.
band?
They're that Canadian trio, Geddy Lee, the prog band, you know. All right.
And then is it about Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn's best friend?
Yeah, it sounds like there's laser beams coming out. There's heavy on the synthesizers. I mean, it's very prog 1970s. I mean, maybe she's they slapped the bass, as Nando would say. So maybe she's a cool chick. I mean, have you seen the videos of the Fundora farm where all they do is raise chickens and box?
No.
All right. Freddie Fundora, interesting character. He's got and beyond. So they have Gabriella, top 5 pound for pound, undisputed champion.
I heard this nonsense earlier this week. There's some like 10-year-old who they're
Sebastian,
like, oh yeah, this is the best one.
Then the 10-year-old they call her Twisted Sister. She's supposed to be the best. And then there's like 4 older siblings who used to box on like amateur or professional level as well. Interesting. Old Dave Sandine not liking this. Rush is the worst. We'll talk more about it if the BC Mythical podcast ever drops. Will it drop? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Aren't you doing that during every ramble? Isn't that
pretty much?
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right. Whoa, what's going on here, Hank? You speaking ill will about my people? We love El Diamante Raul Marquez, BC, but Gio Marquez got cooked this weekend by a dude who hadn't even won a fight in 4 years. Either a major off night or Gio ain't going to the top. Did Gio get the win? I did not watch. I know he had an OTX fight. Did you watch the Giovanni Marquez fight?
You asking me this question?
Yeah, I did.
What channel would it be on?
The internet?
You need to change your damn state. Turn off your station, man.
Yeah.
No.
All right, let's go over to the box rec of the 24-year-old Gio. He took a loss, a split decision loss to Wesley Ferrer, who's 17-2-1. Close scores here, but one score was 79-72 against young Gio, who's now 13-1 with 6 KOs. Oh, I got to reach out to Raul. Tough loss there for the young kid. You know what I mean?
We stopped thinking of Gio as a prospect a couple years back, though, didn't we?
He's still a prospect to me. I called his pro debut in Deadwood, South Dakota. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. All right. No one's talking about it. All right, there we go. No, I love me some Gio Marquez. Hopefully he bounces back there. Have you ever met Raul El Diamante?
No.
You down with him?
No, but I liked him a lot on whatever it was, Showbox.
All right. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk math. Let's talk boxing. Let's not talk about the USB stick, by the way. But speaking of old gentlemen still wanting to fight, I know we've talked about this before, but it's still lingering. Triple J at age 43 is considering a comeback. So, look, there's different versions of comebacks. Remember, Sergio Martinez, once the knee started to respond again, made a very low-profile comeback in recent years, off TV against guys we've never heard of. Do you believe that Gennady Golovkin, as Jim Lampley once told me, he has the finest craft of any destroyer I've ever seen? You're damn right he's for real. He's slow as shit now, unfortunately, Triple G. Is this all turkey bag related in your eyes? What's going on here?
I possibly, it makes sense. He smells a little bit more money out there. He still is he still has a name that people remember. He'd probably be a fun comeback fighter just because he was never visibly hurt up top in his career. I mean, he clearly didn't like it to. I love every time that someone says he doesn't like it to the body, and then someone immediately has to say nobody likes it to the body. In any case, we did see Golovkin hurt to the body a couple times, but never to the head. He has a chin as mythical, I guess, as Canelo, his greatest rival and eventual conqueror, I guess you would say, according to the record books. So yeah, but he'd be a fun fighter to come back, right? I mean, he takes a great punch. He's still going to have heavy hands. If you manage him correctly, put him against some of the weaker contenders, maybe titleists even, I could see it working out. I mean, look, we just saw Manny Pacquiao, who is obviously a greater historical fighter than Golovkin, but they're two of the recent greats. come back. Manny's older or the same age, about the same age. And, he looked all right. He didn't look good, but he did enough to get a draw against someone who somehow wound up with the title at 147 pounds. So why not get that money player?
All right.
It'd be fun. The weird thing about Golovkin, I also just saw a headline saying that he's also in line to become the next president of one of the major amateur boxing organizations. And I know that he's been credited with helping get the boxing back into the Olympics good graces for 2028 and has helped with the IOC and stuff. I don't know if doing both of those things at the same time does not make a whole lot of sense to me. And honestly, if I could choose between him being a corrupt boxing official, which is pretty much exactly the only thing you can be in that role,
yes,
or being a washed old guy in wars, I'll take the washed old wars.
Okay. Let me put some water on his comebacking balls at the moment. A couple people in this chat are saying the same thing, and I'd like to get your thoughts. I don't know if I like the fight. Clubber T. Lang, I like the cash out option in the UK against Chris Eubank Jr.
Not bad at all. Well, I don't mind it. Eubank Jr. is, a little too young and quick, but hey, it'll be interesting. Plus, it probably won't take much. I can talk myself into that. Okay. I would build up to it though, right? Have get some lighter touches, fight another washed old guy, have some fun with it. Maybe somebody brought up Kovalev's nuts. Bring Sergei. Sergei is making weird comebacks at cruiserweight.
Dude, imagine that.
That's the war that was a mythical fight back in their primes when they were at 160 and 175 pounds. These heavy-handed former Soviet fighters from the former Soviet Union both speak Russian. They had even though Golovkin wasn't Russian, Americans probably generally thought of him as Russian. And
he did grow up in Soviet-occupied Kazakhstan.
Yes.
All right. Do you believe that Triple G respects box as much as we do? If you know what I'm talking about, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah.
The best one was, I think, maybe after Rosado. I think it was after Rosado, after he beat Gabe Rosado, and he just goes off on. It was before his English was very good, and he was just going off on it's like, hi, tell your friends, parents, box. I like Max. Like just
Rosado was good, boy. Tell your friends,
just say hi.
Just say
hi. Kills me.
Brody wants Dmitry Pirog to come back. His back did it heal yet? I mean, even Shawn Michaels has made 2 comebacks since the last time Pirog's back broke. Now, doctor said he needed a backiotomy. He may have, they could rematch. He might be able to knock the cancer out of Danny, as insensitive as that sounded. But what about Pirog Triple J in Belarus? I'd love to call that fight. That'd be great.
That was supposed to be Triple G's debut on HBO, as many of the hardcores know. But Pirog could never come back, and they ended up having to go with the great Grzegorz Proksa from Poland.
Your dad was at that fight in Verona.
Yes, he sure was.
Yes. Indeed. All right. Quick question here from Hank Williams. BC, you're going to be in Lithuania, of where my people are from, calling Imantas Staniotis the hardest hitter that Terrence Crawford has ever felt, right? Or was that which one's Mean Machine? Kavaliauskas?
Yeah. No, that's not. That's Mean Machine is Kavaliauskas.
Staniotis
is the guy that lost to Boots.
Boots just took out. No, I will not be there on Saturday. I hope Corey Ardman gets the call. I was sad. I almost got. I was in the running apparently to call that last Janibek fight in Kazakhstan, but then I found out that Triple G didn't even go to that fight. You know what I'm saying?
So you would only show up in the country if Triple G is there?
No, but that would have been a big part of the whole experience. But Max Golovkin was there. Max. Also, I turned down this call, but Hank Williams is right. But did you see blonde cornrowed King Kong Ortiz, who's somewhere south of age 60, nobody knows where, knocked out a middleweight in the first round? That would have been fun. He wants Martin Bacoli. He also wants Moses Atauma, I heard.
Would you have, if you were calling that, would you have been tempted to call him once again the boogeyman of the division.
Yes, yeah. He was so disrespected by you and other boxing experts during that stretch. I mean, he had Wilder dead to rights in that first fight.
Look, he did outbox Deontay Wilder for how many they fought. About 17, 18 rounds. He probably outboxed him for 16, at least of those.
That's right.
Fortunately, he lost in some critical moments there.
Yes. And he couldn't beat Andy Ruiz in that weird fight too, right?
That's just like a washed, spectacle of just, big slobbery.
Dude, is Mr. C right about you too?
I'd rather see those two, Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz. I'd rather see them have a eating contest at the Downey Pizza Company. Like, who can finish the pastrami pie first?
Yes,
that would be a more
with
interesting.
their hands tied behind their back. Yes, yes. Ortiz was really doing doping from the beginning. He headlined that card when I was ringside for what we thought was the last fight of Juan Mal Lopez's career, when he got sent to hell by Cuellar, maybe, and the bloody hand wraps fell to my feet. And I almost kept them as a souvenir until I realized how gross that was. And then I realized the guy would fight like 5 more times. That we mentioned a backiotomy. Dude, do you have the same back I have at this age? I mean, I know a year and a half in that damn recliner ruined me. So I pushed the recliner out of the office. I'm not sitting in it again. But my wife had my kids and I do these core-based, Instagram tricks. And I failed them all. And they all succeeded in all of those. And they were all about relying on your lower back and core to sustain you. And I realized in that moment that this, the sell by date says age 47, but I feel about 65 these days. Well, where are you at with that? I mean, you still are willing to Novak up a few long balls,
I have my moments where my back starts, it's just that's that middle-aged thing where you just tweak it out of nowhere. You shift your weight onto one foot and all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck? I got an electric shock running up the side.
Yeah. It ain't fair.
But it's not too chronic. And I actually have, change my routines up a little bit. I do more lower back stretching, do more, I've different. I'm out here making an effort and it has worked.
Okay. All right. I like that. I'm going to have to get back into the not the DDPY, but the regular yoga on the TV, on the screen and all that other stuff. Anyway, Nocita, he heard chronic and he was ready to light up there. So good shit right there. All right, let's talk about the only thing going on in the box at the moment. Apparently, it's a fight that I really didn't want anything to do with upon announcement. And after 2 press conferences back to back in New York and Miami, I think I want it even less. And I also think Tank wants it even less. It's Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis, Friday, November 14th on Netflix. It got moved out of Georgia, which wouldn't sanction it due to the weight difference. We all know anything can happen in Florida. So they're like, yeah, bring it on down. We're going to get 10 3-minute rounds, a 190-pound catch weight, or is it 195? I mean, Tank was not, he heard Custer and the other guy say it, Nikisa, and he's like, yo, wait, what? What date is the fight again? They're going to apparently have 12-ounce gloves until Calvin Ford got up in Miami and was like, we looking for those, 8 or 10 ounces. That's all details at this point. The Miami press conference, I think, offered more than the New York one, not just Alicia Baumgartner, just to begin with, but there was nobody there at the Miami press conference. I mean, there were like 9 people, and 6 of those were Jalen Love. So, dude, I feel like it would be so much better for boxing if this thing just got called off. Where are you at? Because there is that side of your brain that says, stop thinking about this in terms of real boxing. Stop thinking about Jake Paul as a real boxer. Just watch this for what it is. Another wacky and weird internet skit where someone might get KO'd. How are you trying to field what the hell this is going to be on November 14th?
Well, there's a few different things going on in my head with regards to this fight. The first, I guess, was I mean, well, when it, you know, I saw the on those microphones, you know, the BC number 2,
Yes,
Brian Custer.
Of the Last Stand podcast, which is no longer standing, but he had a good run.
Fine, you know, top bloke all around. Just happens to be, you know, also, you know, there can only be one BC. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
But anyway, but seeing the Netflix Ike logo there on the microphones, my first thought was like, yo, I think that anyone who cares about boxing, not that it will make any difference, just boycott this one, sit it out, don't watch it. Do not do anything you can to prevent Netflix from considering it a success, from comparing it to Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, because it isn't the same sport. It isn't the same, you know, some of it may look the same. There's people who will be wearing gloves in a ring. There will be Florida will roll out its refereeing alligator or whatever weird shit they got going on. And the AI judges will call the fight, but just stay away from this, because I don't want there to be any argument that this is a more successful event, which is possible, probably likely, than a fight of the magnitude of Canelo versus Crawford. So that was my first thought. Tell you the truth, though, I kind of you made me watch these things, and I started coming around. I started coming around, not to the fight, but just becoming like, it's hard. There's something irresistible about
trash
Tank Davis's performances in these press conferences.
Yeah,
starts off like barely knows where he is, no selling everything, doesn't know when the fight is, could not care less. Like, looks over, is like, oh, this is the guy I'm supposed to fight. He looks ridiculous. Look at his balding mohawk. Look, he has a terrible haircut. Look, he's dressed like he's going to a sorority pimpin' hoe out costume party. Like, he's like, this is like a genuine clown. And then slowly getting more animated as this or that pisses him off throughout. And just like, I really appreciate Gervonta Davis, for all of the regrettable decisions he's made, you know, outside of the ring, is hard for me not to like, man. He's just like, because he's incapable he will not say anything but what's on his mind.
Right? Yo, he went after Jalen. He went after him.
Right, exactly. He's just like, I don't care. I don't like you. I don't like this. You're full of shit. You suck. You suck. You suck. And he does it like, it's all emotionless. Or mostly emotionless.
Yes.
It's very deadpan. It's like, he's not even trying to act like anything or sell anything. He's just like, all right, they're paying me to be here. I guess I got to be here, but fuck this. Like, this sucks. So I mean, that saltiness, shoot, man, I'm like that Turkish guy with the steakhouse.
Well, I had heard, you know, you hear rumors and you never really know unless you're willing to chase them down or just post it early with no sources, which some writers tend to do. But you never really know the full truth of it. But I had heard some rumors that this fight was only happening because the money couldn't be secured, which from PBC, what Tank needed for the other fights. And I don't know if that's true, but if you notice in that Miami press conference, Custer's first question to Tank was, why take this fight over the Lamont Roach rematch? And Tank was like, well, I don't really want to get into it, but I don't really want to get into it. So I don't know. Maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe this was, then he said, I have to do what I have to do for my career. So maybe there's part of Tank that really is only taking this because it's the only big money fight available short of signing with Turkey, which kind of feels inevitable for the PBC, especially with that very cryptic report from Lance Pugmire that we could be getting Shakur versus Teo in Brooklyn on a PBC pay-per-view. I mean, I still don't know what that's all about unless you just further read the tea leaves and go, damn, Turkey taking over, ain't he? But the whole point you nailed there is, at least in the New York one, Tank just did not want to be there. He tried a little bit harder, maybe fueled by Jake calling him out at the beginning of that Miami one and being like, even my family realizes you can't sell shit. You're boring. And I think that kind of pissed Tank off. Is it possible that we can hate on this the whole way and then it will be viral and exciting and weird. And like, well, let me go on record. I hate this fight. I mean, I freaking hate it. But even I'm trying to find a silver lining for entertainment purposes. They didn't bring the undercard they claimed they would, in my opinion. Gary Antoine Russell in a mandatory against a Japan guy. Okay. You know, the Baumgartner, I'll take it how I can get it. But okay. A couple other female fights. Okay. That new prospect that Jake signed that just lost. Okay. I don't know, dude. I'm almost cheering for either Fish Scales or somebody to pull an ACL or something, or just, you know, or just claim they have COVID and then we can finally get Tank Roach too. Is that crazy?
Well, I mean, if nobody's willing to pay for Tank Roach too, if that's one of the rumors of why we're getting this fight, why would Jake Paul versus Tank falling apart make us more likely to get Tank Roach too?
Only if Turkey's now involved, if that Pugmire report goes anywhere.
That is interesting to me. If the idea that the only option is to go, you know, cash a check to fight Jake Paul in a circus fight, I guess. I mean, there are other, you could just co-promote, like PPC could work with another promoter. Or I mean, PPC is not a promoter, but they could PPC could find a promoter who's willing to bring a fighter who they think, you know, is willing to, and that can raise the money they need. AKA just work with Turkey on this. Like go get Turkey's money, use it, and figure out what happens afterwards. You know, and whether that means Tank is fighting Roach in a rematch, whether they jump straight to, I mean, they're not doing it now, but whether there was ever a possibility of jumping straight into a Shakur Stevenson fight, all of that would have been attractive and absolutely worth making a deal that financially I'm sure would have been good for everyone with Turkey and Riyadh season. Like, make good fights. I'm in favor of that. I definitely prefer it, regardless of who's paying the bill, to Jake Paul fights in any form against anyone.
Especially a size mismatch like Toon Tone to Superstar said on Twitter. This is empty calories, dude. Like, after Crawford Canelo, this is empty calories.
Come on now. So here's what I don't understand about the commentary of all of this. Here, so what? The size mismatch. So what? You think that if, all right, first of all, I don't think this will be a real fight. I don't, because it is too unlikely. Jake Paul hasn't had one yet. Why would he start in November?
It's going to be an exhibition, but when you say real fight, you mean both guys going full speed.
Right. A fight where both competitors are competing to win. I don't believe it will be that.
Makisa's lawyers are on line one, just a heads up.
All right. Okay. By the way, that guy's starting to look like a washed Kell Brook.
Wait, pre or post island stabbing?
I gotta see him in some shorts.
Okay.
So anyway, I think it will be a weird, feel like a circus, somewhat, in some aspects of it are likely to feel scripted, and we're going to be wondering what the hell just happened here. I do think that's likely. However, if this was a real fight between two of them, people actually believe that Jake Paul, just because he's a larger human, is going to have like an easy night with Gervonta Davis. You don't think Tank just whips his ass by being 10 times as fast and better at the sport that they're competing in?
Yeah. Hey, Jake, you about to find this out.
That black guy, he hits hard.
You know what I'm saying? Any size gloves, that guy hits hard. Okay.
And like Jake Paul, I mean, he said some hilarious shit in these press conferences saying, oh, well, Tank has these defensive lapses. He has holes in his defense. What has Jake Paul, as far as I could tell, barely landed a punch against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yes.
In their last fight.
Yes.
He won that fight on activity.
And he was kind of going in the wrong direction in the last round.
The one round where either Julio decided to start fighting, or it was agreed that he was going to choose one round that he could compete in. Like, as soon as he decided to let his hands go the littlest bit, Jake Paul's backpedaling like hard. Like, oh my God, wait, the punches don't come back. That's not how this sport works. Like, so look, I'm not convinced that the size mismatch is that compelling of a factor in terms of, oh shit, like they asked somebody with a straight face, asked Gervonta Davis, is this the greatest challenge of your career?
Yeah.
Yo, man. Yo, are you crazy? This is
going to be a 10-round fight, by the way, De La Cruz. 10 round, 3 minutes each. They will have judges, so there will be a winner. Well, blah, blah, blah. What do you make of Alan Dawson at the New York press conference pushing Tank a little and saying, like, look, boxing almost needs you to fight Shakur Stevenson, needs you to rematch Roach, needs you to take on, Teofimo, the biggest challenges available. And not only did Tank get mad, he was basically like, fuck off, don't watch, who cares, whatever.
Yeah. It's weird. I agree in spirit with Alan Dawson. That is like when we talked about when this event, whatever we're going to call it, was announced a couple months ago, we were like, the first thing's like, this is terrible. Like, this sucks. I don't want to see this. It makes no sense. Like Tank shouldn't, I wish very sincerely that Tank was not lowering himself to this level for whether it's for money, whether it's for fame, whether it's whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't want to see it. However, I also sort of object to putting sort of buttonholing. I mean, it's not like in from a media sense or like it's bad. Like, it's the right question to ask. However, I am fully in support of any athlete. I respect athlete, Brian. And I'm in full support of any athlete who wants to push back on that sort of thing. Be like, fuck you. I don't fight for you. I fight for money. This is where my money is being made now. I can come back and like, I will fight until I choose to not fight any longer. And that's I don't care what you think I should be doing with my life because you ain't me. So sit the fuck down.
Isn't that further amplified by the year Tank has had, where not only did he seem like he dodged, barely dodged a return trip to jail, he acted like he wanted to retire ahead of the Roach fight. He activated the rematch clause for Roach, then it kept delaying and it never happened. Like, we already feel like he's completely checked out. So that was a fair question, and I thought his answer pretty much sucked, even though I get what you're saying.
Absolutely a fair question. And like I said, the right question to ask. And I generally like when athletes push back and just say like, man, fuck you. I don't care. Like none of you, like you're there, like our job here, what we do have some real role to play. I mean, asking the question is part of our role, but also like Tank gets to make his decisions with his advisors, with whoever's important in his life. We don't get to make these decisions for him.
Yeah.
Right. And he hears from fans and from media what they're thinking, like clearly because it got under his skin. And if we look at the totality of Tank's career, I think everyone absolutely should be judging him harshly on his choice of opponents, not just in this Jake Paul debacle, but every step along the way, all the fights, all the big fights that could have been made that weren't. The biggest one ended up being Ryan Garcia. How fucked up is that? Like another guy who never really took the sport seriously. At least he had an amateur background and real talent. But it was a pretty easy night for Tank. He has not even come close to taking the most challenging routes through the sport. And that's fine. That's his prerogative. But it's absolutely something we're going to note whenever he decides to officially retire, and it's honestly something that has been true throughout his career. Us in the media as a whole, I think should have done a better job of calling out those choices when he was making them, rather than, because he was such an exciting young fighter with the backing of Al Heyman and Floyd Mayweather until Floyd fell out of that mix, with making these big gates and making a lot of money for the sport. Well, what happens in those cases? Us in the media, we're going to make all the excuses for everything you want to do, like we did for Canelo, like we did for Tank, until something goes wrong, until you're no longer on top. And then we're going to go back and, retroactively apply real logic to all those decisions and be like, oh, actually, maybe he could have fought someone better than, who's that guy that you saw him like came up like 3 weight classes to get knocked out in 2 rounds in Carson one time? Ruiz. Hugo Ortiz.
I'm
picking up the weights, but like a guy like fights like that where this guy has no chance. I think Tank, like if this is how Tank's, I think it's fair to say Tank probably has always been a dunk. He hasn't gone after the biggest fights. However,
well, they've matched him they've promoted him like a star, which doesn't mean that you're not dunking certain fights. It just means sometimes that it's more about selling out the box office in different cities. I still feel like he fought enough big names, not enough to fully get the pound for pound ranking he probably deserves. But the disinterest in the Roach fight, the fact that he got a draw he didn't deserve, and now this, I don't think anyone can be positive on him right now. I feel like everyone's got to be negative. Even if what you're saying, he's a prize fighter, this was the biggest prize available to him. This is too easy to pass up. He's in his eyes, he's not going to get hurt. He's going to go out there and hurt this guy, and then we go on to the next. But I don't know. Like, also, when you're a superstar on that level, I feel like you owe something to boxing. And this ain't the real box. And this kind of pisses me off. Did it piss you off that one question at the New York conference that lit Twitter on fire for a second?
Are we talking about the one from what's his name's? Oh man, I love it. Yeah, I caught this. Like World Liberty, not even the World Liberty Trump coin shit that's going on. World Liberty TV boxing. Dr. What's that guy's name? Dr. Abdul or whatever. Oh,
I don't even know, dude. All I know is Hank saying, "Love your guys' takes on the farcical press conferences. How about Gervonta's incoherent defense of when Jake accused him of being a women hitter? Custer couldn't move on quick enough, dude. That whole exchange was awkward as shit.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think I might just be so internet jaded, whatever, whatever pill you want to call me, that like I love the shit out of it. The whole thing, I was just laughing at every turn when I mean, yes, it did make no sense. What Gervonta Davis said when he was asked about his recorded on video history of
we even got it on camera.
Women.
It wasn't him. Okay.
That camera said he did that. But no, so the part that didn't make any sense was when Tank was like, just like what happened with Diddy. If I was hitting women, don't you think more women would be saying that I hit them? He's like I guess.
Sir, why did you have so much lotion in your closet, though? That's the thing. No, Monzo, my dad will not be attending this. He would probably only attend a combat sports event if he knew that Dakota Ditcheva was within 2 hours distance of PFL. Then he would probably attend, even though he still thought up until 2 years ago that cage fighting was without gloves and no rules at all. But that's
those were the days, Brian.
Those were the days.
But then out of context, that Tank quote, that little line where he's like, like I've been with more than one woman, more than one female. Sorry, I've been with more than one female. I'm 30 years old. Let's be real. I mean, that was going into very clear Paulie Malignaggi. It's 2013. Athletes sleep with a lot of women territory, and we respect that in these parts of town.
Speaking of Paulie, here's a question from Daniel. Paulie tips Tank's career choices to shred. Let's not forget he didn't want the Loma fight till he was he wanted it later. He still wanted it. Loma chose to retire, but no, I hear them. I mean, at that time, I don't think PBC was looking to make cross pay-per-views with Tank in Top Rank. They should have. Yeah, look, you can't defend. You can't defend Tank anymore. That's really where we're at. You can't defend him. Let's get a couple of comments here in some support from Nando. Appreciate it. Tank is Gen Z
point.
as F. Quiet quitting. Interesting. Also, we're going to hear from Saul, the finest of Louisville. This fight is Blockbuster B. It kind of is a little block. Real boxing is Netflix. This is Blockbuster. You know what I'm talking. You speak Shabanese at all, Rafe?
Nah, that's the Brendan Schaub stuff.
Yeah. There's people that really don't like the guy out there in the world.
I did nothing against him, but I do not speak his language.
I don't think many do without head trauma. Here's Sid White. Thank you as well for the support of this pod. Tank's checked out, and so have I with him. Understandable. It really, really is. Yeah. So what the hell do we say here? What the hell do we expect? What the hell do we do? I mean, we got Alicia and the co-main. They're doing 12 3-minute rounds. They're playing it off as historic. They're doing men's rules. She actually had to give up the WBC title because Sulaiman did not want to support that. Maybe he's more Turkey in that lane where we're like, we don't need women on Riyadh's season. In fact, we don't need them at all. You know what I mean? Like,
so do you, that female in the blazer that will be fighting Baumgartner, do you know her? What's her deal?
No.
Okay. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Doesn't
and I know
like,
some women's box. I know. I mean, I've seen a few, you know what I mean?
That's fine. I know. My only concern here though, is that, you know, all the noise that, you know, the really virtuous among us in the fan and media set been calling, hey, it's not right. The women need to be getting 3-minute rounds, 12-round fights. You know, that's the championship standard, which makes sense. That is logical. Not something I have strong feelings about. So if this fight happens to suck, how many of y'all are going to be happy that you're getting an extra third of this crap? Because it's not like
wow.
You think it's well matched? You think it's well matched?
You want women to get equal treatment?
Do you think that this is going to be well matched? And if Baumgartner can't stop the Blazer lady, then we're going to need Cigar Lady to come out and vamp a little bit to make things interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I thought that they were going to hit us between the eyes with a bunch of fights like the Zone, and I didn't really think this undercard is moving me. I mean, we get Ellie Scottney in a title fight. Okay, cool. I don't know. I don't really know.
Can we get maybe what's his name? Oh no, maybe we could apply, especially since there are no rules here. Can we please bring in the Sandman from Showtime at the Apollo just to come out with the hook and take people out the ring if it's boring? Like, okay, we'll give you your 12 rounds in 3 minutes and 3-minute rounds. But if this is turning into Jermaine Franklin town, take that out. You know, you can finish.
What about like a trap door in
the
parking
lot?
Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, that would be the way to go.
And Netflix, we're all out there voting on our phones, like trying to get the trap door to open. But you know what would be sad though? The male chauvinist pigs who are boxing fans might be smashing that trap door button in like 30 seconds into round one.
I mean, that's what De La Cruz says. This is one way to get Rafe to tune in. Let's get women boxers and let's let them fight for longer. There we go. That's it right there.
I want to see 5-minute UFC rounds.
Yeah. We always trust Hank Williams IV because he actually is like a hardcore boxeo guy. He says Baumgartner fighting a can since she barely beat the last Uber driver she fought. The Bomb looks better than she fights. I will say her last fight was after a long layoff on that Taylor Serrano undercard. She didn't look great in that. Like her opponent kind of rallied back, you know, but I do ultimately believe in Baumgartner's skills. And I hope that the drug testing isn't that extreme so she can be great. Because I think she can make fun fights in the women's game. Rematches with Michaela, maybe get Sandy up in there. You know, Sandy.
Getting too big. Michaela's getting too big, isn't she? She's trying to go up.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Baumgartner's down there and he's still 130, 135 territory.
True. Daniel says, do I look down on Katie Taylor for not wanting the 3-minute rounds against Serrano? I do. I think strategically she leaned on her A-side leverage and knew that that's better for her style against Serrano, the bigger puncher. So I thought they should have done that in the third fight. Do I want that now in the co-main to Jake Tank? No, it's just going to be longer until we get the main event at 1:30 a.m. on Netflix. I mean, that's where it's headed, right?
That's where we're going. That's right. Nothing like a 1:30 a.m. main event. Wait, you really? So I've not, believe it or not, I've not thought hard about the 2-minute round issue and how and Katie Taylor's decisions and the leverage she applied to keep fighting on those terms in the trilogy with Amanda Serrano. But if this is how she's been fighting throughout her professional career, why would you advise that fighter to then change?
True.
Let's change the format of this sport. How about we play, granted, yeah, I mean, in Euro, in international basketball is 10-minute quarters. College basketball here in the States, for whatever reason, is still 20-minute halves. But it changes the strategy that coaches and teams use in those games. It changes it places different constraints on it, and teams and Team USA in international play, which is always the most, the most talented roster that may change in the future, or the very near future, goes in and doesn't play at their highest level. They pull it. They've so far in the post-redeemed team era been able to pull out the Olympic gold every time, but they don't win the world championships every time anymore. And they, and it's not because they aren't the most talented team or the favorites going in. It's because they can't quite adapt as well to the slightly different rules.
Even chemistry matters.
But these other teams, that's a little bit of a red herring in the international game, where it's like, oh, these guys grew up together. Yeah, they grew up together a little bit, but they're and the depth of talent is not as broad, across. So the best.
You say broad because they're females, or
no. I'm talking about men right now.
Oh,
men who put a ball in a hoop.
Yeah.
But I just like the best Serbian players, the best French players, the best German players. They're all over the world too, playing for different professional teams now. It's not like they hang out 12 months a year and then get together for these events. In any case, so anyway, changing the rules of your sport, even in minor ways, it's gonna have an effect on the outcome.
No, I mean, that's true. It'd be like, being used to the college 3 and then saying for the Final Four, let's go to the NBA 3. I mean, I get it.
But they both got to, the other side is that look, if they did 12 rounds in 3-minute rounds, Amanda Serrano has to do it too. If she wins, that's a fair fight, then she wins.
Do you think there's a chance Tank gets dropped or stopped?
I don't.
Okay.
I just can't see.
He does spar bigger guys his whole career. Like, this is not new for him.
It sounded like he was telling Jalen Love that he had beaten him up in the doghouse a few times.
It did sound like
back,
that.
Back when they were both active fighters, or when Tank was coming up and Jalen was getting fed to the likes of David Benavidez. God, watching that press conference made me want to go watch those 2 rounds again. More than
that's what I'm
else.
talking about.
Benavidez just ending him.
Hold on, quick aside here from Daniel. Do I think Turkey will ever promote a Jake Paul fight? I do. I think Turkey wants to cash Jake out against Joshua, but the fight didn't come together. And I think Turkey would be willing to do KSI Jake, because Turkey KSI as a ambassador or whatever, but that's Misfits boxing. I'm not sure how that would work. I don't think Turkey likes Misfits boxing. Ultimately, I think Turkey wants to just be involved in everything, including a touch butt tag game with Tom Brady on a football field in Riyadh. So that's where that's at. 2 turntables and a microphone.
But Brian, you asked me, do you think that there's a chance that Gervonta Davis gets hurt or knocked down in this fight or stopped?
Not really.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Not really. No, I think it's much more likely the opposite, that Tank gets a viral, like a lot of people in this chat were like, hit him with the Santa Cruz. I mean, imagine Tank, off of a clinch, hitting him with one of those uppercuts and knocks Jake out. That is a situation where the internet would go nuts. People would suddenly be like, Tank is a hero. Regular boxing just finally got rid of Jake. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it be one of those moments? Don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, it would. Now, that is where I do think the size difference could play a role, where it's hard to imagine even a mammoth puncher like Gervonta Davis for his size and division, knocking out a guy who's naturally like 60, 70, like being able to one-shot a fighter that big. It's not to say it's impossible. And I think Jake Paul is probably inexperienced enough that he's the kind of person I could see it working against outside of something like me walking in off the street.
Yeah.
So basically, look, I think the one shot KO for Gervonta Davis is more likely in this case than any kind of KO for Jake Paul. And so this brings me back to what we talking about at the beginning of all this. I think it's crazy that there's a narrative out here that the size difference is so insurmountable here that we can't sanction this exhibition, or this is an atrocity because of the size difference.
On that. I fight back. it shouldn't be a real fight. I'm glad it's not. You got to have size differences.
In real boxing, I agree with that. But the idea that I guess the idea that it's unsafe in this case, that doesn't track to me.
I mean, to be fair, Jake weighed 199.4 against Chavez last fight. Tank weighed like 133.9 against Roach. So, I mean, we know what we're getting here. I wonder if Tank will stop him to the body. Is that more an accurate scenario? You know, maybe Jake will give up the body thinking he's the bigger man. Let me not get caught with something big. And then Tank just hits him with the Hopkins De La Hoya and we're out of there.
I mean, I think it could easily. Well, this is the other thing. Will Tank against a guy who not even close to his level of skill or professional experience, will he lead more? Right? He likes to counter. He likes to let lead you into a trap and just and knock you down, knock you out with one or two beautiful shots like he does. Will he just put pressure on the bigger man? Basically do he can't handle your speed, son. Manny Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya type performance where he's just too many angles, too much movement, too much speed, too much class, and it's just they end up quitting because they realize they bit off more than they could chew.
He can't handle your speed, son.
No, I think this is the perfect fight to counter because the openings will be wide in his eyes when Jake starts coming out there with the jab and Tank is, a master of those southpaw side angles where he almost rises up with shovel punches to begin with. Now it's going to be such a taller guy. I mean, I wonder if we meet in the middle and say, is there like what Floyd did to McGregor? Where he's like, okay, I'm not going to throw a lot, but I'm going to walk toward you with the high guard and keep making you move and gas you out. Will there be any of that out of Tank?
That could be interesting. So are you, that's not the game plan I remember from Floyd McGregor though. I remember a slightly different one.
Which one was that?
Well, Brian, it was to make Conor shoot his load and then begin to do what he does.
First thing we do is make him shoot his load. Yeah. Big question here from Arturo. Which fight will be better, meaning more entertaining and more realistic? Tank versus Paul, Mayweather. Wait, what? Mayweather. Oh, okay, Mayweather Tyson. I thought he was comparing it to Mike Tyson versus. Let me put all three of those fights on the board for you. Jake Tank, Jake Tyson, and Mayweather Tyson. What is the order from most real to least real in terms of our potential entertainment in your eyes?
I think I wasn't expecting to be this positive today, but I think that Jake Tank has the most potential to be real. I think that there is. Part of me wants to believe that Tank just doesn't give a fuck, that he's a fighter, and when he gets in the ring, he will start fighting. I can't believe I know I'm being suckered. Those words come out of my mouth. Infrared, I try very hard to get those results, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. I mean, there's a part of me that is clinging to the idea that a prime still prime fighter who is not always motivated and like Tank, but still will just be like has this distaste for the same kind of distaste for Jake Paul that real boxing fans have.
Yeah.
All right. And is also tired of hearing, the boxing media, which is very hard on Gervonta Davis for fair reasons, then turn around and usually look for ways to say something positive about Jake Paul because he's bringing a lot of money and attention to the sport. And that is how the media game works, but it is still frustrating as a fan and probably even more frustrating as a real career professional boxer who has put in the work and blood, sweat, and tears and all of the gone through hell to both of their own making and not of their own making to reach this level in their lives in the sport, to then have the people who cover you say, well, you're not respecting the sport. You're not upholding the values of this great sport, which I think it's fair to say Tank really hasn't done that throughout his career. But then for us to turn around and praise, oh, look, this guy's so great. He's trying so hard to learn boxing in just 4 years. He hired BJ Flores, the great cruiserweight from NBCSportsNet.com TV.
No, Raskin loves that guy.
Yeah, great. You give any of us a good quote, we'll love you, but that doesn't mean we should give a shit about you.
Okay.
In any case, yeah. Jake, by the way, here's my question about Jake Paul and his great boxing work ethic, how seriously he takes the sport. How come he's never been in real boxing shape for any of his fights? How come he looks like, look, he's in better shape than I am. I'll give him that. He's half my age. He's in fine shape for an athletic young man. Good for you, Jake. You know what you don't look like, though? A boxer. You're like 5'10", adding 3 inches of height with some hair that you need to get to Turkey soon, son, because we all see that lettuce up there is getting thin. Doesn't matter how.
Wait, are you calling for Turkey HE or the Turkish hair transplant?
No, I mean Turkey. I mean go like Mayor Adams going to Turkey to get some hair transplants.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's neither here nor there. I just mean that every time Jake Paul looks like he's in decent shape, but he's thick. He's at his height. He should be fighting at 175 pounds, right? Maybe 168. And he's not, because he doesn't want to cut weight like real fighters do. Fine, I don't either. But this is just one more reason why I don't need to hear another dumbass narrative about, well, he tries really hard and he's improving really fast. He's improving really fast. Like if you give me something that I've never done in my life before and give me 5 years and professional training to learn it, I'll get half decent at it too. But he ain't doing the whole thing. He's not taking it seriously. He hasn't fought any real fights. He doesn't really want to. He probably is hoping somewhere deep down in his fake ass blood that Gervonta Davis is not going to treat this like a real fight. Because if he does, it's his ass.
Damn, you hit him hard.
And I hit him hard. Really hard.
Wow. Let Rafe cook. I don't know if any lies were told in that sequence. Hank Williams wants to remind us that BJ Flores once went to war with Tony Bellew across the pond, and he was the one that was gutted. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying here. A-Rob is telling us that Harrioka, the mandatory, is going to beat Gary Antoine Russell. I don't know enough about that Japan guy to say that. Thank you. I think there's other fights with that man that I'd love to see.
To our knowledgeable audience, is Hiraoka the kind of Japanese? Is he a Kamagai style Japanese fighter, just face forward? And determination. Are we going to get a war, or is he more of the better, the more skilled Japanese fighters that are also quite achieved in the world of boxing?
Yeah. I'm hoping for the former. I hope he goes full Arakawa Figueroa and sister shows up. Hey, look at this support here from Brick Squad. Well appreciated. Thank you for not selling out to Saudi. No bone saw for BC. Well, I think you can get the bone saw even for not selling out. I think you can get it for criticizing. So either way, you're getting it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Right? Do you think...
Yeah, go ahead.
That there's any Diddy possibilities when you have to spend 19 hours in the hotel room with HE?
No, I don't.
Okay,
it's weird. Well, I mean, when you say do I think that he's breaking out the lube and doing what's his name, the little man that speaks Russian and has the bad front comb over, Rick Reno,
Versace.
Yeah. Is he doing him with the lube? I hope not.
I don't want to. I just remember that weird video with Dougie where they were like in their pajamas and they had their arms around each other and they were joking, and I don't know. I mean, hey, whatever gets you through the night, but I'd stay up all night if I were them. Frank Martin's back, says Monzo. Not on this card, but I believe he's back on the Fundora Thurman pay-per-view against your older brother, Rancis Bartolome.
Oh my God, Rancis is back?
Sorry, your younger brother. This ain't Ledwan. All right, okay. This is Rancis with Wolves at age 40 will fight Frank Martin somewhere on the prelims of the Fundora Thurman.
Heard Keith Thurman was going to be here. Sounded boring. Found the man. Still sounded boring.
That's not going to be boring to me. I hope to be calling that card. I hope to be calling this fight. Are you moved at all about Frank the Ghost Martin against Rancis?
I can't be moved ever. I haven't been moved by Rancis Barthélemy since he won that robbery over our guy. What's on
Arash Usmani.
Usmani, not Arash.
Not my man from LA. No.
Yeah, I haven't been like Rancis is just not an easy fighter to get worked up about. I really like Frank Martin though. He's a good fighter. I want to I'm excited a little bit just because I like Frank Martin. He also he's all right. I want to defend you, and not that anyone's attacking you about it at the moment, but I'm still mad that that the netizens out there came after you. They came for you. The pitchforks were out when you were expressed enthusiasm for Thurman versus Fundora.
Yes. I like that fight.
I like
weird.
The fight.
I
like me some Keith Thurman. I think he will acquit himself well. I think he's live in this fight as an underdog.
Well, this is the perfect transition to what's coming this fall, which is a bunch of 154-pound fights that kind of matter. I mean, we could I guess we could say that what's his face? The guy that I said was like Triple G and then he got KO'd. Boachuk just lost to Brandon Adams in the rematch, which kind of removes him from the larger picture of who's the face of this division. But coming up in like a week or two on DAZN, we get Boots Ennis making his 54 debut against some guy no one's ever heard of. Then we get Thurman Fundora on October 25th. And then in November, we get this fight that rightfully so, us hardcores are jacked up about. And that is, of course, Ortiz-Lubin going into Dallas against Virgil Ortiz Jr. I love this division. I love that the best are slowly starting to all fight the best and eliminate each other. Maybe you can even add on the rumors that Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo, former stablemates, will face off in January on a PBC card. It's starting to open up. You've also got Tim Kazoo firing his manager, getting a new trainer, all that stuff going on there. Back to what we were talking about Fundora Thurman. This will take us closer to finding out who really is the man at the 5'4". I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just Thurman he still looks like he's got a bit of he's still got juice left in those tires or whatever. That doesn't make any sense, but he's got air left in those tires.
He's been juicing from the beginning, right?
True. And I don't know. He's a fun fighter. He's a fun personality, and I think that he hasn't slowed down to the point that I think he doesn't have a shot against Fundora. Like he's a good counterpuncher, and that seems to be the best route to getting to Fundora.
Yeah, I mean, and if he juicy tires, indeed, people are already wanting Keith to get the win over Fundora, which is possible, by the way. And then, I mean, there are some interesting, even on the PBC side, there's interesting permutations. I would like to see Thurman or Fundora against the winner of Spence Charlo. I think this is a great mini bracket that doesn't take into account the DAZN guys, of course, but maybe Turkey can bring everyone together eventually, and then we find out who's the man at 54. Why, by the way, why can't Turkey make this Janibek Adames fight at 160? I feel like every other week they're negotiating and then it falls apart.
I don't know. I mean, I think probably because no one cares about it. I think, Turkey likes, he likes to be known as a serious steward of boxing. But what he likes even more than that is big splashy things to slap his brand on. And there's nothing splashy about Janibek versus Adames. Like it's like, cool, glad that's happening. Are those guys alive? I guess they are. Let's watch the fight. Yeah, I don't know.
Let me get your early fit check on who's coming out of these fights. Boots versus the guy we never heard of.
Who's the guy that Boots is fighting?
Boots
is the answer. If we don't have.
Let me pour some water on his balls, please. Let's see. What's the guy's name? I'm sure they're putting it into the chat, but I'm going to find it the old-fashioned way. Here we go. It's going to go down October 11th. The guy's name is Lima. First name is
I remember, yeah.
Ulisma Lima. He's 14-1 with 10 KOs, born in Angola, fights out of Portugal. He's 32 years old. His only loss came against unbeaten Aaron McKenna 2 years ago. You got boots, don't you?
Yes, I do have boots.
All right. Now they're saying he's from Libya. I don't believe you, Hank Williams, but there you go. What about Keith Thurman versus Fundora? I'm still feeling a Fundora KO, and I don't want to be, though. I don't want to feel that.
The Mustang grease is more to my liking.
Yeah. So you're gonna go with Keith?
Yeah, I am. It's not. I mean, I'm not super confident about it, but that's what my heart wants, and my brain can make enough of my mind can make enough of an argument that that's just where I'm at.
Dude, Brody's back in it too. I mean, look, I love Keith. I like both guys, really, as people, as fighters. I'm down for either one. I'd love, like I said, for the winner to fight Spence Charlo if PBC can keep putting out some shows. And also Community Service wants to give credit to Sean Porter for fighting literally all the big welterweights: Brooke, Thurman, DSG, Errol, Bud, AB, Powley. Yeah, dude, you got to give Porter credit. Lost his biggest fights, but was elite, was a great person,
and was never uncompetitive in a fight. Never really outclassed. I mean, he was a pain in the ass for literally everyone. Whoever's
poor Berto.
Whoever in the ring for. Oh my God,
he put it on Berto.
Worse than a pain in the ass. Also, we forget to mention one of the more impressive Sean Porter opponents. I'm not talking about that amateur win. I'm talking about Eric Bonet.
Yes, the boner. Yes. Boner's the bone over there. Who are you feeling early in the fight that I watched the press conference for yesterday, Tuesday in Texas? It is Virgil Ortiz Jr. against Ortiz-Lubin, because I got to give Lubin some credit here, dude. Even though we've seen his limitations before, he's never stopped trying. He's still 29 years old, 27-2 with 19 KOs. Yes, there was the first round knockout to Charlo. Yes, he lost that war to Fundora where they were both down. But since the Fundora loss, he stopped Cuba Arias, which is a good win. He won a disputed decision over unbeaten Jesus Ramos. And then he knocked out unbeaten Ardrell Holmes Jr., who's was a good showbox level guy who was stepping up. Before the Fundora fight, he got a decision win over Gaucher, decision over Gallimore. He knocked out Banana Rosario. He might, considering we saw Ortiz get dropped twice to Boachuk. Lubin's in this fight, right? He's live.
Yeah, I agree. This is a really, really good fight for fans to look forward to. And I think that it will look like some of Lubin's other fights where you see him outboxing. He'll have moments, right? He's talented. But I would not want to be a fighter with a shaky chin, planning on going 12 rounds against Virgil Ortiz. I think this is a dangerous situation to be in. So I think there will be moments where Lubin probably makes Ortiz look bad, but Virgil will it will be a close fight until Virgil catches him with something that ends the fight.
The people that we're not talking about in this equation right now, and I ultimately agree with you that Ortiz will win this, but it'll be hairy. It'll be a fun-ass fight. I'll give Lubin a shot here for sure. What the hell's going on with Brockram Murtazaliev, dude? He cannot get a big fight after sending Tim Kazoo back down under. I mean, what the heck, dude?
I mean, is that surprising to anyone? It was almost like, of course, you want to win that fight. It's the biggest win of his career. He wins the belt, but at the same, it did not do enough to raise his profile, and then it just made everyone be like, "Well, I don't need to fight that guy." He looks like
that's
he's
a
actually
main events
decent.
Fighter, one of the last main events fighters left.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kathy. Shout out to Nicole. I know Jolene don't work there anymore. Shout out to that guy they got, the white guy. What's his name?
I know who you're talking about. Man.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Joe something.
Joe, thank you. Also, Daniel's got a good question. Whatever happened to Brian Mendoza, the guy who KO'd Fundora, then Zoo beat him? I saw Mendoza was on some podcast the other day. They put a press release out where he's calling out Fundora like crazy. Does he factor into this 154 picture soon, or no?
I mean, I think he factors in that's he's a credible opponent. I don't think that I would not bet on him to win another belt at 154 pounds. But like, why not? If he's available, if his body is right, if you like, that's a good name for a lot of people to fight on the way up. Or if you need a, if you're a titleist who needs a defense, that's another. She's right in the mix for that. Why not?
I'm with you on that. Good question here from Daniel. I want Rafe's opinion. Which 154 will be the last man standing? When you look at this loaded division right now, we kind of named all the players. You got old guys like Spence and Jermell Charlo making comebacks. I don't think Brian Castano is walking through that door, but there's a few other names from who else we got? Yoenis Tejas just lost a brawl down there at Caribe Resort. But there's a lot of other names here. Who's going to be the last guy? Is it really come down to Virgil and Tank, or not Tank?
No.
Boots, or Virgil and Boots? Are those the last two guys in this bracket? What do you think?
Possibly. The answer is pretty clear and easy. Honestly, for me, it's Boots. Like you go for the blue chip talent there. Who seen there have been some moments where the extreme hype and enthusiasm for Boots has faded a little bit of inactivity, a little bit of his decisions and fights that he did or did not take at various times. That's hard to judge from the outside until it becomes an undeniable pattern. But look, if you're asking me to bet on someone, it's that fighter who seems to have it all, who has always that's and is big, still big at that weight. I remember there were times when he was at welterweight. They'd show he posted like a sparring picture after he sparred Charles Conwell. And like this, so he's supposed to be sparring a guy who's bigger than him, just dwarfing Conwell. And that, Boots, Boots is an easy call for me on that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one until I see differently. I think Fundora could also be in this discussion because I thought he looked even better in the second Zoo fight.
He did, but he's going to have to beat some real talent before we talk about like some true, some Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis type talent. I mean, look, beating Keith Thurman, even an old Keith Thurman, convincingly would do a lot to make me believe that okay, he can actually hang with the quickest, shiftiest, most dynamic, boxers in the division at that point. Because right now it's like, yeah, he's got some good wins against the quality guys, but he hasn't, and he's got the sort of, the loss, a perfect punch loss to Mendoza. But
a lucky punch. Yeah.
Not a lot. No, it's a perfect punch.
Okay. Before we find out whether you care about this weekend, there is a 39-year-old former world champion who's back in a different lane of combat. Thank you, Hank Williams, for reminding us. James DeGale, who's somehow not 40, will be back at BKFC this weekend in his debut in England against Matty Floyd. Shout out to Matty Conrad, by the way. Chunky was the first Brit to win an Olympic gold and world title. Now only him and Ege. Of course, one of our favorite people in the box, Caleb Truax, had a career night against him. Are you excited about James DeGale, who gave us some great fights, especially during that time when the UK promoters were working with Al during the early PBC run? Remember those fights?
Yeah, that's also how Tank fought Stephen Smith?
No, Liam Walsh.
No, Tank fought. I'm talking about the Tank's belts that he went overseas for. Anyway, regardless.
Yeah, I thought that was Liam Walsh, wasn't it?
Was it Liam? I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. Liam Walsh, like beefy, chunky, beefy. Isn't Liam?
That's Liam Smith.
Jesus, man. These guys, these blokes. I'm not excited about this. How can the only thing that any boxing internet fan is excited about when they hear James DeGale at this point, right? It's your favorite 2-syllable word.
Sister. Yes.
We want to check in and see if she's still doing well. We want a wellness check on Sister DeGale.
What about Rachel Accordingly? Wellness check there or no?
Who?
Rachel Accordingly Frotch.
Oh, with Rocco.
Cobra's lady.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and bring them all, man. Bring them all.
Okay, Rafe will have them all. All right, I want to find out whether you care about what's going on this weekend, let me call up the Dan Raphael Fight Freaks United schedule where he obsesses so that we don't have to. Nice guy, right?
No problem, Dan. I don't.
Yeah. Are you good with Dan whenever you see him in life?
I haven't seen Dan in years. I'll probably never see him again. But yes, we've always got along. I like his work. I think he plays a really important role in boxing and always has. And he does it pretty responsibly, especially, as the stand, like there was a time, right, during the ring theory prime when Raskin and Detloff were just firing on all cylinders, and we had Tim Starks and Queensberry rules, and Bad Left Hook was rocking it. There was this salty edge to the boxing hardcore media as well as the boxing hardcore fans who looked at Dan as, oh, you're the mainstream guy, right? We don't mess with you. You're playing arenas. We like small halls. But then a few years passed and the whole sport and world and media all went to shit. And Dan has managed to maintain a very stable level of putting out strong content, whether it was for ESPN and now on his own. He still does the job well, while everyone around him does it like shit. So it's pretty, it's pretty inspiring to see that he's still doing it.
All right, Saturday, Kissimmee, Florida. This is a Pro Box TV event. Najee Lopez versus Calvin Henderson, 10 rounds light heavyweights. Will you be tuning in for that?
That's a no.
I believe Juan Namita is on that undercard as well. Juan Ma's kid that they're estranged.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Does he
I don't know if that's
gamble?
true. I don't know if that's true. Is that the same guy? I don't know. Anyway, that's what's going on. I don't think you care at all. Let's keep going here. Saturday in Montreal from DAZN. DAZN gives us a lot of cards that we wonder why they air them.
They hit us right between the eyes with a bunch of crap.
Yes. Saul Kudos versus Kim Clavel. 10 rounds for Kudos's IBF women's strawweight title. I believe this is the chick that Jake Paul just signed, and this might be a Jake Paul fight night. I don't know. You care? No, there's women involved.
I bet Jake Paul has signed a few female talents from the city of Montreal is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's that. Also Saturday in Sheffield, England on DAZN, Ben Crocker versus Sean McComb, 10 rounds junior welterweights.
Betty Crocker, what are we talking about here?
Yep. Also Saturday on DAZN from Medepac, Mexico, Jackie Calvo versus Leona Miraz, 10 rounds, female junior flyweights. Excuse me.
I don't care about that. But speaking of Betty Crocker, remember that great Teddy Atlas clip where he's like, I bake you a cake. I can't even remember the context of that, but he was flipping burgers and I couldn't keep up.
I fuck your wife. No, let's also go. No TV Saturday from Kaunas, Lithuania. It is Imanas Staniosis, 10 rounds, junior middleweights against Jabulani Mackenzie. That's a heck of a fight right there. I would tune in if I could. You don't know anybody else on that card. No TV Saturday from Pomona, California. Ruben Cazales will take on the former incarcerated brother of Devin Alexander's anus, Vaughn Alexander, in an 8-round super middleweight bout. Do you care?
I care. Yeah, I care. Vaughn just never quits, man. I heard, Chris Mannix had those Boston promoters doing club shows out there on for a charity podcast a couple months ago that I listened to, and they were talking about bringing Vaughn Alexander out for a fight. That guy's a workhorse, man. Good for him.
Dude, he's 39 years old. Somehow another guy who's still not 40. 19 wins, 15 losses, 2 draws. Nickname is the Animal. He has won once in his last, 12 fights. There's a draw in there, too. He hasn't fought anybody you knew since he lost to Derevyanchenko. Oh, in 2024. Dude, this guy's fighting like 7 times a year. Good Lord.
Activity, baby.
Wow. He won a split decision over Cuba Arias back in 2021. That's a big win for him, right?
Yeah, that is a huge win for him.
Damn. All right. We see you, Vaughn. Shout out to him. Remember that heavyweight that came out of jail that Main Events was promoting? What was that guy's name?
Heavyweight that came out. That could be a lot of heavyweights.
No. We liked him. Detloff liked him too. He was Mansauer. Amir Mansour.
Oh, Amir Mansour. Oh,
yeah, that guy.
Maybe one of the most uplifting, inspiring moments, right? Is that after his war with Steve Cunningham on NBCSports.com or whatever it was called, YouBetYourAss.com, and he loses, by like a razor thin decision, incredible fight, and like, oh, just the emotion. And he's saying, I'm glad he won because, I know that his daughter is going through some stuff. And,
yes.
And like, it was when Steve Cunningham's daughter needed like a heart transplant. I mean, it was just like all the emotions in the world were flying all over the place, splattering against the wall like a Sandy Ryan fight. And it was amazing.
Hank Williams is back to educate us. The Sean McComb guy is the guy that got robbed blind versus Arnold Barbosa last year, a tricky southpaw who's taken on Betsy Crocker.
So not Sean Combs.
Not Diddy. No Diddy.
No Diddy in the UK.
Real quick in that lane, Il Java, what do you guys think about 50 Cent as Balrog in the new Street Fighter movie?
Why not? I mean, he posted some videos of skipping rope and appears to be in good shape. Good excuse. About it's a good excuse for 50 Cent to get in shape, man. Good for him. He looks good in the role. Who else is in this one? Is it going to be better than the Van Damme one?
I hope so.
It better be. Man, that's up there with the greatest disappointments of my life.
Cody Rhodes in this one?
All right, that does not really move me, but maybe
you watch all those, the Marine part 19 with.
I love me the Marine. Yes. There are also, what's that one with Stone Cold on an island? The Condemned. The Condemned is awesome, man. It's like a Hunger Games type thing, or a death race type thing, where it's a bunch of prisoners on an island. They got to fight their way out.
Okay, I'd watch that. This is Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Alexander Volkanovski of Skinhead fame are going to be in.
So there are no actors in this film.
Probably not.
Interesting choice. Whatever. I like the Street Fighter series. I like to remember the days when Jean-Claude Van Damme movies came out, and I was pumped.
Yes.
Even though Street Fighter, that one broke my heart, but that video on the soundtrack, Deion Sanders. Straight to my feet. Oh my God. So bad.
I love when he was rapping on Saturday Night Live that time.
Must be the money.
I was on Tubi the other day in the neo-noir section, just thinking that you and I should be watching the same movie. Like,
I hit Tubi hard, man.
If our lives ever fall apart, we're both divorced dads, we should move into the same one-bedroom apartment and just watch Tubi all the time. That'd be awesome,
That's a good retirement plan, man.
That really is. Final question from Steven. BC, would you kiss the calamari ring to get into HE's good graces? No, I would want to work in a respectful way in which I've earned the job and I won't lose my life trying. But get rich or die trying was a 50 Cent thing. There it is.
Yeah, right, Jeffrey.
I'm not holding hands. I'm not putting the lotion in the basket. I'm not doing it. Okay. Other people have done it. Okay. Then people are trying to get me to talk about cop here, right? They're trying to get me. All right. Enough of that crap.
How's the show? Have you watched that show on YouTube? Gotta say, I don't know who they're paying to get those numbers, but they got the numbers up on that show with Max.
Oh yeah. The only thing I like about that show, I watched the first episode. I watched some of their stuff during fight week. I haven't watched it since, but I did see a clip where Max was getting giddy over the possibility of Benavidez versus Beterbiev next year, saying it could be one of the greatest action fights of all time. And I got a phoner. I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, I mean that fight would give any of us a phoner.
Yeah, that would be one of the best things that happened to us. I'd hold HE's hand for a hot second to get that fight. Would you?
Yeah, man. Why not? Okay. HE's never done anything wrong to me. I don't even care what happens to boxing,
Yeah. I love that time on Morning Combat where you're like, if you needed this moment to teach me that HE is lame, like, whatever you said that time. Yeah, he's buns. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I mean, cop kissed the ring, but that's some people that happens. All right, there it is. End of story. Hey, Rafe, thank you for joining me today. There's nothing going on in this sport, so I hope that changes.
More press conferences to break down in the near future. I can't wait, Brian. I can't wait.
I think that's magic. Rafa, do you want to sell anything? We can follow you at Rafe Bugs. You know, hopefully you're gainfully employed. I hope.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. You're a great author. All right.
Yeah.
We're good friends.
I'm taking that. I'm taking all that to the bank right now. Cashing that check.
I love your daddy.
Let's cash that.
Let's get it on. Okay. Also from Steven, really sad to see Kellerman put on the knee. Yeah, you know, to pay for the Hampton summer villa. We've been through that yeah, there we go. Great show. Thank you for joining us. Here's the best outro and podcast. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully that your box gets big. We don't want the box too big, to be fair. You know, you kind of, you know, yeah, okay. All right. See you later.